I, 26 male, have custody of my half-brother, Jay, nearly adult. Our mother isn't the most responsible woman, so she was deemed not fit to be a parent almost 2 years ago. So I ended up being the one who got custody of Jay. Jay and I have had our issues. I have rules that need to be followed in my household, and Jay doesn't agree with those rules. Examples of the rules are doing the dishes after eating, having good grades, cleaning his bedroom every 3 weeks, always telling me if he's going out, and consulting with me on any major decision. Apart from that, he is free to do what he likes. Around 8 months ago, I had a business trip. I left Jay at home because I trusted he wouldn't do anything crazy. I was wrong. I got a call from the police saying that there was a party going on in my house. At least 70 people during Global Issue. To say I was mad is an understatement. I was terrified because I thought something happened to Jay, and I would have to deal with our social worker being concerned for my capacity of taking care of Jay. It was terrible. I had to cut short the trip because I needed to return home. Honestly, Jay hasn't regained my trust. I understand that he's a teenager and teenagers do stupid stuff. However, an encounter with the police, partying during a global situation, unacceptable. I'm going on a business trip next week. I am borderline paranoid of something happening to Jay or him doing something stupid, so I arranged a babysitter for him. The babysitter is a kind old lady named Lucy, who is also my neighbor. She will only check in with Jay every day and maybe spend time with him or even bring him some food. I told Jay about Lucy and he freaked out. He told me that I was treating him like a child and disrespecting him, and then said that I was no better than mom, which hurt a lot. He hasn't come out of his bedroom yet. I believe I might be the idiot because I am infantilizing my brother and making it clear that I don't trust him. Me, my dad's wife, his wife's sons, and their 3 kids together are all in family therapy. I'm female teen. My dad decided family therapy was the way to go because I refused to integrate into the family when I moved here 2 years ago, following my mom's death. My dad moved away from me after he and my mom decided to divorce for good. They were on and off until I was 5, and then he just up and moved away one day. The next time I saw him, which was 5 months later, he was living with his wife. Her sons are a year older and younger than me respectively, and they thought it would be great, that it would be so easy to make a family out of kids as young as us. But I was bitter. My dad was gone. He used to show up to pick me up from school on Fridays, and he would take me to computer coding for kids, and then he was gone. I saw him a few weeks every year, and he called, but it never sat right with me that he left me for them, or even that he left to escape my mom. He could have lived closer, 1 or 2 hours. Instead, he moved 32 hours away. Dad always knew I resented him, and he would tell me not to. We fought a few times because I didn't make the effort to bond with the boys, or then his kids with his wife. And when she tried to get close to me, I would tell her I was there to see my dad and not her. I told him he should move back if he wanted things to get better. Then my mom died unexpectedly. She had struggled with some issues for a while, but I thought things were okay. So he moved me out to him and told me it was our chance to get our relationship back on track. But I held it all in, all the anger and bitterness. They started therapy almost 2 years ago, but I didn't want to be there, not with them. Then last week it all came out. The therapist told me if I wanted to leave, I should wait outside. Dad told me to sit down and take part because that's what they were all there for, to make our family work. And I snapped. I unloaded every single thing that session. 40 minutes of me saying how much I hated my dad for leaving, how this wasn't my family, that I didn't care about his kids, stepkids, or wife, that it was about him and me, and when he left me behind for them, he sealed the fact that I would never want a single thing to do with whatever family he made after leaving me. It was intense. I cried, I raged, and when it was over, I was piled on by my dad, his wife, and her oldest son for saying all that in front of the younger kids. Then my dad told the therapist we weren't going back, and he didn't have a clue what he was doing. These last few days, he has been different. All attempts to bond are gone, and he's now just furious that I said all that in front of his 3 little kids. And his wife goes between mad and hurt that I don't care about her, even though she tried to be a family member to me. Am I the idiot? My mother, Canadian, and my father, American, got married young, had me, and divorced several years later. My mother took me back to Canada, and I lived there from 2 to 16. I saw my grandparents, fathers, but only occasionally saw my father. She hauled him into court numerous times, suing him on both sides of the border. In my mind, my father was a screw-up. I hated him but loved his parents. My whole life, my parents were never in the same room. I saw my father 1 to 2 times a year, sometimes only for a couple of days. My mother warned me what an idiot and a fool he is. I resented him. They were constantly in court. My mom told me he never paid what he owed. My mother said he never paid spousal support, which is why we were so poor. He couldn't cook. He was a leech. It was so bad that I couldn't talk with my grandparents about him because it would start a fight. I don't think I was ever happy to see my dad, and I kind of liked that it hurt him, just like he was hurting my mom. Eventually, I just stopped seeing him. Jump to May, and my mom tells me she wants me to renew my U.S. passport and move in with my dad. She and my stepfather are going on a road trip. I pack my bags, fly to the U.S., and move in with my dad. Immediately, my alarm bells go off. My father is talking about starting school here, and I keep trying to tell him no. Finally, he gets my mother on the phone, who then tells me the truth that my stepdad doesn't want a teen girl in the house because of the temptation, so I'm living here forever. My mother quit her job, is selling her stuff, and taking up with him. I'm out. I've been here since June, and nothing my mother ever told me about my father is true. At first, it was little things. He can cook and isn't a complete numbskull like she told me. He has a fascinating job I never heard of. This whole family is like the Brady Bunch. My father has a great job, my stepmother runs her family business, and I have a younger sister and 2 brothers. My father kept photos of me. My father has items my mom and Nana sent him. I'm so angry. Nothing was the truth. I was terrified to come here because of what my mom told me about the crime. It isn't true at all. My mom warned me about the food. Again, nothing is true. My whole life was one big lie. I asked my dad why he didn't pay spousal support, and my stepmom cleared it up. They did pay child support. My mom got remarried twice, and so the courts rejected her claims, which she also lied about. I'm so far from home and I barely know anymore. My mom is gone with some biker tool. My dad is lovely. My stepmom is lovely. My dad put me in a tiny private school where my class welcomed me, made me gifts, and bought things. Still, I'm so angry at my mom. I want to scream. Is it bad that I crawled into bed with my stepmom and cried? I'm so lost. I want to ask my father about everything, but I'm terrified of the answer. How do I repair things with my dad?